Olena Pchilka is one of those figures who made a significant contribution to the spiritual treasury of the Ukrainian people through her tireless work. She is the author of dramas and comedies, novels and short stories, fables and lyrical poems, epic poems and poetic translations. Olena Pchilka is a translator, teacher, journalist, scholar, folklorist, and ethnographer. Her real name was Olena Petrovna Drahomanova. She was born in the summer of 1849 in the ancient town of Kharkiv, in the Poltava region, into a poor landowner family, the Drahomanovs. The family came from a Cossack family of translators and diplomats called Drahomanovs, known since the Hetmanate. The founder of this family, a Greek by birth, was in the diplomatic service of Bogdan Khmelnytsky himself. The future writer's father, Petro Drahomanov, was an educated landowner and lawyer. He was fond of literature, wrote poetry and short stories, collected folk art, and his translations were published in the magazines of the time. His mother, Yelizaveta Ivanovna, raised and cared for 6 children on her own. She had a beautiful voice, knew many folk songs, and sang them to her children. Ola received her primary education at home. After her father's death, her older brother, Mikhailo Drahomanov, taking care of her younger sister, took 12-year-old Olha with him to Kyiv and enrolled her in the Kyiv Model Boarding School for Noble Ladies. There, she mastered German and French. The first publication of the future writer was her academic work, an essay on German. This was the beginning of Olena Pchilka's creative biography. At the age of 19, Olena Pchilka got married to Petro Cossack, a recent student and friend of her brother. After the marriage, the family moved to Volyn, to her husband's place of service. 3 older children were born in Zyagel: Mikhailo, Larisa, later Lasia Ukrenka, and Olha. It was in Zyagel that Olha was engaged in the study of folk art. She searched for Ukrainian ethnographic gems, recorded songs, rituals, folk customs, and collected samples of folk embroidery. With her musical ear, Olena Pchilka memorized the melodies of folk songs by heart. Thus, she adopted the tradition of Volyn singing. Traditionally, it was believed that Olena Pchilka was one of the few Ukrainian aristocrats who loved folk dress and dressed her children in Ukrainian costumes, which surprised people around her. Olga Drahomanova was an active public figure. Throughout her life, she persistently and uncompromisingly fought for the future revival of national culture, for the right to speak, write, and publish books in her native language. She repeatedly appealed to the Tsarist government to lift the ban on printing and teaching in Ukrainian at school. The beginning of the 20th century brought Olena Pchilka heavy personal losses: the death of her son Mikhailo, her husband, and her daughter Larisa. Not fully accepting the Soviet government and communist ideology, Olena Pchilka actively resisted it. Under Soviet rule, while celebrating Taras Shevchenko's birthday in the Kharkiv Gymnasium, she wrapped a bust of the poet in a blue and yellow flag, which angered the local commissar. In 1920, she was arrested for counter-revolutionary speeches. After her release, she moved to Mohyliv-Podilsky, then to Kyiv, where she was offered a job at the Academy of Sciences and elected a corresponding member of the Ukrainian Academy of Sciences. There, she was engaged in ethnographic research and wrote her memoirs. In fact, her status as an academician and her advanced age saved Olena Pchilka from repression for her anti-Bolshevik views. When the Chekists came to her, already 80 years old, with an arrest warrant, they simply took pity on her and left her at home. On October 4th, 1930, Olena Pchilka passed away. Her legacy lives on. Many people can only now appreciate her foresight and vision for the future. She always valued her roots and made efforts to preserve the culture, knowledge, and heritage of her people.